Just over 3 weeks ago, after a protracted legal battle with Republican leadership in the legislature over my executive authority, the Michigan Supreme Court, by a narrow party line majority, struck down the statute under which I had issued executive orders to save lives and to protect Michigan families, our frontline workers, and small businesses. Since that time, we have seen a steady rise of COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. We are now at our peak when it comes to daily new cases. This peak is higher than what we saw in April. This graph shows our cases per million lined up with actions that my administration has taken over the past 7 months. The furthest line to the right shows when the Supreme Court issued their ruling. And as you can see, our cases per million since then have been on the rise. This graph shows the same timeline with Michigan's hospitalizations. And as you can see, these numbers are on the rise as well. Our numbers are climbing. We need to take this seriously. We need to double down on wearing masks and maintaining physical distancing. We all know the fall was going to bring colder weather, but we are now nearing the 2020-2021 flu season, and we're all spending more time indoors. We know that more people will get sick. We know that more people will get hospitalized, and sadly, more people will lose their battle with COVID-19. Based on what we know, a vaccine will not be available, much less widely distributed, for several months. And that's why we all have to do what we know works. And it also means that time is of the essence. We're not alone. I think it's important to note that all of our neighbors in the Midwest are experiencing a rise in cases too. This blue line that is rising significantly higher than the rest of us is Wisconsin. Their Supreme Court issued a ruling striking down the state's stay-at-home orders. And if we're not careful, and if we don't all do our part, this could be our fate very quickly as well. And that's what we're so concerned about. So while the executive orders that I issued this year to protect our families are no longer in effect, I want you to know that we still have a law that is applicable that requires wearing of masks. I want you to know that I will continue to use every tool that is available to me to keep you and your family safe. And the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has issued a number of epidemic orders to ensure Michigan's public safety and public health. Under the MDHHS orders, masks must be worn at any gathering occurring at a business, at an office, at schools, child care facilities, sporting events, and other non-residential events. Businesses cannot admit individuals who do not wear a face covering, with few exceptions. Organized sports require face coverings and have gathering limits. And capacity limits apply to indoor gatherings. For example, except in Region 6, a gathering at a retail store, a library, or a museum may not exceed 50% of total occupancy limit. Gatherings at recreational sports and exercise facilities are prohibited if they exceed 25% of the total occupancy limit, or if there is less than 6 feet of distance between each workout station. And food service establishments cannot exceed 50% of normal seating capacity. I also signed a set of emergency rules on Friday from the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity to secure protections for Michigan workers. Under the emergency rules, businesses that resume in-person work must, among other things, have a written COVID-19 preparedness and response plan and provide thorough training to their employees, training that covers workplace infection control practices, the proper use of PPE, steps that workers must take to notify the business or operation of any symptoms of COVID-19 or a suspected diagnosis of COVID-19 or a confirmed diagnosis of COVID-19, and how to report unsafe working conditions.